In relation to what is happening in Kenya right now, in today's episode, I want to give you a story. I want to tell you a story. A story I read long time ago. Let me say 12 years ago. That is a story in the book Kifo Kisimani. Welcome. In the book Kifo Kisimani, there was a king called Mtemi Bokono. Bokono was a ruthless dictator. A dictator who had every power to do everything he wanted. He also had, let me say, tumbocrats, right? People who were surrounding him, who were just there because of their stomach. You can relate, you Kenyans. People like Gege Biuki, people like Askari wa Kwanza, and people like Askari wa Pili. These were the people who were so close to the king. They were the mouthpiece of the king. Whenever king wanted to do something, a king would send them because the king trusted them with everything. The king was so ruthless, and the people survived. The people of Butangi, they survived. This went for several years. This went on for several years. Until a day when Mtemi Bokono, or the King Bokono, uttered this word. That Mtemi Bokono would rule for 100 years. And Askari wa Kwanza, Askari wa Pili, Gege Biuki, and all the surrounding tumbocrats shouted, Kweli, 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 Kweli. Right? Remember, this was a dictator. The economy was bad. The economy of Butangi was bad. There was lots of corruption. But there were some few sycophants who could still say, Kweli, Kweli. You remember? Then there was this liberator who emerged in Butangi. This great liberator was a brother to one of his sycophants, Gege Biuki. He was called Mwelusi. Mwelusi also had a sister called Andua. So, because Mwelusi was so close to the people, I can compare Mwelusi to Raila Odinga in Kenya right now. He was so close to the people, he used to speak the language of the people. He used to do whatever the people wanted him to do. He used to shout at the top of his voice the problems of the people. And people loved him. Mtemi Bokono saw the uprising. Mtemi Bokono saw what was happening in the ground. Mtemi Bokono saw the crowd that Mwelusi was pulling. And one day he sat in his throne and thought about how to counter this. Wow. Mtemi Bokono had a very beautiful daughter that every young man would wish to have. Every suitor would wish to have. Remember that? So, all wise men were brought to Bokono to help solve this puzzle. The puzzle is how to eliminate this Mwelusi, who is giving the king a nightmare. With the big following, the king was so afraid that one day, one time, he would be overthrown. So, what did they do? They sent the askari wa kwanza, askari wa pili, and there was also askari wa tatu. They went, arrested Mwelusi, and put him in jail. People were allowed to come and see him in jail. That's why I tell you, when you do good to people, people will remember you in hard times. Wow. There was this clever woman, Andua. Andua went to the jail with bread. Because inside the jail, Mwelusi was in chains. So, Andua went into the to prison to see Mwelusi. He carried with her bread, and inside that bread there was a file. Tupa. Okay, something that Mwelusi could use to cut the chains. As Andua was bringing the bread, people back in the ground were organizing on how to free Mwelusi. So they came, overpowered the askari wa kwanza, askari wa pili, askari wa tatu, and they released Mwelusi. Mwelusi went and mingled again with the people. Remember, Gege Biuki was a brother to Mwelusi. So, after the escape of Mwelusi, the king was disturbed again. What can he do? So he said, I must do something. So he called Gege, the brother of Mwelusi, and told Gege that I will give you everything, even part of my kingdom, when you go and kill your brother for me. I will as well give you my daughter into marriage. Gege, on hearing that, Gege was so happy. That beautiful daughter, half of the kingdom, I will live as a rich man. Gege accepted the offer. So he went home, called his brother, to cut the story short, called his brother and told him, I have something to tell you. Let us go near the borehole. The Kisima, near the borehole. As they were going, Gege had a knife. They reached there. Gege stabbed Mwelusi. Mwelusi died. There was a revolt in the kingdom. The king was overthrown, and Makiu Gege was not given what he was promised. Kenyans, you can relate. So it reaches a time that when the citizens are hungry and are at the dead end, they normally make some decisions. There's also another book called Mayai Waziri wa Maradhi, where there was this man, there was this topic, kachukua hatua nyingine. Okay? Kachukua hatua nyingine. If you read this book, you can relate. Kenyans at this time have taken another course, have taken another direction of maandamano. They will do it to their last breath. So, Mr. President, if you're there listening, know that Kenyans are coming for you. They've taken another direction. They've taken another course. Until next time, bye-bye.